Saturday. Last Saturday of November. How are y'all doing today? A couple of boxes to go through. Did y'all have a good Thanksgiving? People get so bent out over holidays nowadays. You know? Used to be, when I was growing up, employers used to give their employees days off with pay during these holidays, holy days, holidays. Gosh, we had a lot of them way back in the day. Every month was a holiday. They started calling them bank holidays as employers stopped honoring them, and the only ones that continued to honor them were banks and post office. So keep this in mind. Any day that you don't get the mail delivered to your house is a day that you used to get paid to not have to go to work. So I want you to consider for a second, the more you complain about a holiday, the less holiday you're going to get. Walmart, from my understanding, is only closed now one date throughout the whole year. So if you're a Walmart employee, Christmas is the only day you really get to look forward to as it being closed. And heck, if you work in a warehouse or transportation or inventory or stock control, you don't even get that day off. So go ahead, keep bitching, keep complaining about the holiday. Let's take Thanksgiving away also. You should work every day. You shouldn't have a day off. That's how it should be. You don't like the holiday? Good. Then go to work. Stop celebrating it. Go to work at regular pay. Now, mind you, also, if you had to work on those days when they started making people work on holidays, they would pay you double or even time and a half. Yeah, that don't happen anymore either. So since you don't want to celebrate the holidays anymore, you don't think there should be a holiday, go to work, regular pay, no holiday pay, don't take any time off, and you have no reason to complain. It's one of these weird arguments that it's like Schrodinger's cat. You really can't give a true answer to it because nobody knows for absolute true fact. I mean, you can show them the science that the wavelength of light we call red is measured at this distance and visible in this realm, and shows up along this spectrum of the wave of light. But what you are calling red and what I are calling a red may not truthfully be red. You can't see through my eyes. I can't see through your eyes. So who cares what they call the holiday? It's a day off from work, unless it isn't. And the more people bitch about it, the less holidays you're going to get. So I just want to get all off on that because I'm really sick and tired of people complaining about holidays. Complain about this, complain about that. Shut up and enjoy your day off. Or keep complaining and lose it. There's not many people that get the holidays anymore. And with inflation on the rise, and your pay not on the rise, your dollar's going to buy less. The harder you work, the less you're going to get. And who do you have to blame for that? Can't possibly be the politicians, because you do realize that they get paid the same as we do, minimum wage, multiplied times tenure. Well, that minimum wage is nearly $300,000 a year. That's fair, isn't it? That's fair. I like whenever they vote themselves into a pay raise. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's first year in, they voted in a pay raise. And she was trying to talk about how they justified a pay raise because of how much she has to pay now to be a politician and have her expensive clothing and expensive apartment. Hey, pay the politicians the same thing we pay a fast food employee. They'll change things real freaking quick. Hi, welcome to Congress. Minimum wage this year is $7.25 an hour. That's what you'll be getting paid. You'll be here 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, at least. We do offer overtime, but you have to get approval of it before you do so. Anything you do over and above what you're required to do may improve favorably upon your pay scale. We cap salaries out at $15 an hour here. Good luck to you. Maybe you'll make the management team. Oh, what do we got here? Some dresses. And skirts. Ooh, pajamas. Start dressing up some of my dolls. My wife's dolls. They're now my dolls, and I get to play with dolls now. That's what was in that package. This, I think, is my keyboard to my computer that will be coming today. However, I won't be here to get it. And they won't drop it off, so hopefully they'll deliver it tomorrow. Toys Mafia, good morning. Jake, good morning. Yes, I hope you all did. I truly do. I hope you all enjoyed Thanksgiving in some form or another. It's an American holiday. I think it was, God, it's a new holiday, by the way. The United States has been an actual country for 245 years, right? And the holiday is not 245 years old. And when they created this National Day of Thanks, it was designed to let people see their families and just reflect on how good they have it. I don't remember which president it was. I think it's a 20th century holiday. I think it was created during that time. They decided to tie it into the story that we've been told since we were little kids about the pilgrims that came to the United States from the Dutch countries because they were tired of religious oppression. So they came here for religious freedom to start a new colony. And they were starving to death. They were dying in the harsh winters of New England. And they weren't able to grow they couldn't tame the land. They were unable to figure out how to grow their seeds that they brought with them. So the indigenous people, Native Americans, American Indians, I'm not sure which tribe is attributed to this story or people, they took pity upon the pilgrims who landed at Plymouth Rock and taught them how to tame the land, literally, by putting fish with the seeds and whatever else. And they had a bountiful harvest that next year. And in appreciation and thanks towards the people who saved their lives, they had a Thanksgiving feast where they invited the people who saved them over to enjoy with them. And now people have turned that into, oh, well, then the genocide and yada, yada, blah, whatever else. And they want to start hating on Thanksgiving because they want to say that it was the white folk only that held and owned slaves. And that's not true. European settlers did not create slavery. European settlers were not the only people that were slave owners and holders. Matter of fact, the indigenous people of the United States were slave owners. It's a very interesting show where Don Cheadle was researching his genetic roots and found out that his family, Don Cheadle War Machine, was not freed from slavery after the Civil War, as his family were slaves of the Chickasaw Nation. Slaves, not cohabitors, not recognized free people, slaves of the Chickasaw Nation. Those who don't remember our history are doomed to repeat it. So I got this keyboard to go with my new computer. One thing I didn't buy was a monitor. I'm going to switch all that around. I like this keyboard. This is one of those keyboards you can't just necessarily find at Logitech. You have to literally type it in. It's the K800. Super slim. It'll stand up on its end. So you want to slide it in between something when you're no longer using it. You can do that, or you can just flip it up to give yourself some table space. It's wireless, rechargeable. Used to be the batteries were AA's. Now they're they're soldered in, so you can't swap the batteries out anymore. Uses a USB-C port. The keys are backlit. They're soft touch. Virtually no sound in them. And when you just put your hand over the keys, they illuminate. So they go to sleep when you're not using it. And just as soon as you reach out to type on the keyboard, the keys illuminate. Now, if it's plugged in, they stay on all the time. But if it's unplugged and it's fully charged, or well, just unplugged and wirelessly connected, when you just hover your hands over it, it comes on. So it's the K800. It's gone through a few changes from its initial inception, and you won't find it if you go to Logitech and search in available keyboards to purchase. But if you put it into the search criteria, K800, it'll come up. Originally, when I first bought one of these, gosh, almost, it's been probably 10 years or so. They were $120. Now I think they're like 50 or something along that line is what I paid for it. I've had lots of these over the years. I love them. K800. Wireless. Backlit. Soft touch. Trying to figure out how to set everything up here. What I might do, I don't know, I might move my computer to the living room. Use the big, I think I got a 70-inch TV in there. Use that as my monitor. Put some Detolfs in the living room. Put my figures up in there. Like I said, everything I've left pretty much just the way my wife had it when she passed. And I struggle with doing away with her stuff. You know what I mean? I struggle with that. Dagrancis. Woohoo! Nice. Beautiful. I heard you chime in. I will have to check that out. Save on Maison. Good morning. What was the figure I saw that dropped this week? Loki. Hot Toys has a Loki, President Loki, available in two options, which one option I guarantee you won't be available here in the United States because it's just not something that doesn't sell here, just full of stickers and all sorts of neat little things. But he comes with, gosh, forgive me, I don't know whether it's a crocodile or an alligator that portrayed Loki. I don't remember what the price was on it. It was available for sale at Sideshow, I believe, in the version without the stickers and such. Retro Loki was available last week, I believe, by I forget who, but it also came with crocodile or alligator, whatever it was. So I imagine, Save All Maison, you would consider Loki a villain. So I'm curious if you'll be picking him up. I know you don't like getting the third-party pieces. But this is definitely a Hot Toys figure. Save All Maison, our villain collector. CBS Sci-Fi, how are you doing? No bird for me. Yeah, what I had for Thanksgiving was... see, I wasn't sure what to do for Thanksgiving. I love to eat. I really love to eat. And I was thinking about just buying the Thanksgiving food anyhow and having a feast just for myself and enjoying the leftovers. So I bought everything but the turkey. I had some oven roasted turkey breast deli meat, and I didn't even have a turkey sandwich on Thanksgiving. I think what I did have, though, was a slice of pecan pie and a slice of pumpkin pie. I think that was my Thanksgiving. I think that's what I did, if I remember correctly. I've been busy this week. Been driving back and forth to my job. I work remotely. I have worked remotely for many years, since 2015, systems administrator. And I only have to go into work whenever the shit hits the fan, more or less. And the shit hit the fan. Started having some computer issues a few weeks back, and I had to go and rebuild one that crashed on them. And now I'm updating some of the other computers, make them faster. And I had to do this on premises. So Wednesday and yesterday, I had to make the trip to the store. I'll be going to the store today. Again, that's why I won't be here to sign for my computer package. So that's what I've got going on. I'm anticipating a phone call from Sioka, formerly Kerbeck Corvette, this next month to order my Corvette. I'm basing that off of just looking at the number of people that are on the allocation list and who have been getting contacted to order their Corvette. And my number will probably come up in December. If not December, definitely January. And then from then, a 2-month build. If you go to the Chevrolet website to build a Corvette now, it pops up with a little error message saying some features and options are not available anymore or on limited availability, check with your dealer before making any final decisions as to your build. The only thing I can think of that might be being affected to that is the C8R commemorative version Corvette, which truthfully I don't have any interest in. It's either in yellow or gray, and it resembles the Corvette Racing Team Corvette. And it looks cool. But I think that they've sold all of those. They had a limited edition that they were going to make, and those I think are spoken for. So if you were to try to order one of those, they wouldn't let you place that order because it's not available to be built. And that's not me. I'm not planning on getting a Corvette that resembles the Corvette Racing Team. But every time I go into the site, every cotton picking time, I end up changing my preferences on what I want my Corvette to look like. The only thing I'm so far solid on is red mist metallic convertible. I think that's the only thing that's never changed, ever. GT2 seats. Other than that, I've changed everything each time. I want the memory lift up on the front end. Other than that, I've not been consistent in what I ordered it. The least expensive order that I've built came to $92,000. The build that I built the other day was $110,000. So I'll have to make up my mind somewhere. One of the decisions I'm having a hard time with are the interior colors. So with that red mist metallic, you can actually have any color. You can even override what Chevrolet considers a proper color combination, and you can just put any color you want in there. If you want to have yellow interior with your red mist metallic, they'll let you do that. You have to pay, I think it's a $545 color override on that. And you can have a red car with yellow interior with blue seat belts, and just really make it truthfully to your taste. So the interior colors I've been going back and forth on are what they call natural, which is like a light leather color. Jet black, just as it sounds. And red and black. And I think I'm leaning towards the red and black currently. Looks really nice. Looks really nice. The Z51 package has been something that I've been going back and forth on also. Do I need it? Do I want it? It's 5 extra horsepower. Extra radiator, extra cooling, bigger brakes, better stopping power, better performance, faster. And I'm a big guy, so I definitely need anything to get that thing moving is going to be beneficial. So this is Super Mad Toys Hunter K Blade Hunter 2046 1/6 scale collectible figure. So this is from the most recent Blade Runner movie. K was the name of the protagonist. And Joy was his artificial intelligence hologram. It's her. And there was a big question about, in the original Blade Runner, was Harrison Ford's character a replicant? It's a big question. A lot of people like to debate over. In this movie, there's no question about it. Kay is a replicant. And I think they end the argument about Harrison Ford. He's very human. It appears he is definitely human. But K is a replicant, and it leads to a bit of an irony. A replicant retiring replicants, right? This came from 1/6 Outfitters. I like ordering from them a lot. Once you get the sleeve off, it's just a black cardboard box, shoebox style. Hot Toys Plop, we used to call it. We would plop it onto the table. Hot Toys used to come in shoe boxes with this styrofoam in it. That's how you used to get your Hot Toys. Joints are loose. Two different head sculpts. Ooh, a lot of neat accessories. Whole bag full here. That's nice. I like how they put everything in separate little bags. Good thinking. All right, we have the, I hate to see it, oblong figure stand, but we get the hoop, which I really love for my female characters. Since we have a black one now, I put the silver one on Captain Marvel over there, Miss Marvel. So I think I'll swap out this black one for that silver one, put a black one around her because of her black outfit. Oval figure base. I've always been a fan of Blade Runner. Totally. Totally. I think I've got Harrison's character on order also. I didn't pull the trigger on the first Joy that was released a couple years back, and I regretted passing on that. So, of course, I couldn't help myself when Joy came back up again. Very happy to get her. I didn't go to the theater this week. I didn't watch anything new. I've been watching Umbrella Academy and Cowboy Bebop on television. Really enjoying Cowboy Bebop. I watched the first episode of Black Lotus, back to Blade Runner, which is the a new story being told in the Blade Runner universe. And I have to tell you, it was nice to see the city and the imagination of the creators of the show. And that's about where it ends. It's very poorly done. I hate to say that. I mean, I was really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. And it's just a weak story, very weak story. And the animation is not done to, in my opinion, a high standard. Um, the story just makes no sense. Yeah, it looks better instead of that silver for her here. So in the story, we find this young woman. She doesn't know who she is or what she is or where she is. She has these scrambled memories. So she decides to go down this, as she's scantily clad, decides to go down this dark alleyway. And for whatever reason, these three people decide they're going to mug her, kill her, steal her, whatever. I mean, these people are using swords and knives and stuff to fight her. Interesting way to try to capture or kidnap somebody. I mean, they would have killed her if they'd attacked a human being in this manner. And we don't know who she is at this point. And so she fends them off. And next thing you know, this entire mob is attacking her. She goes someplace and there's like a dozen people that are out to get her because she defended herself against these three people. And she goes and meets this guy. I think they call him the professor or doc or something. And he's getting manhandled or roughed up by the mob. He's got electronic equipment and such. And she's got this camera or something that she's carrying around with her that they want. And so she just literally gives it to this guy that she meets who has this shop. And then she says, well, I can make these gangsters never bother you ever again. And so she goes out there and fights like a dozen of them or so. I don't even know, in this alleyway or graveyard or something. I don't remember. And she's like, you guys leave him alone. Okay, we will. Thanks for kicking our asses. What the hell kind of story is that? Like a couple of 16-year-olds got together and made a story up for a show. There's 3 episodes that are out. The 4th episode will drop this Sunday. And I have not even been inclined to any degree to even watch it. It's just so totally unbelievable. It's just... But the world that they put it in is just really beautiful, very Blade Runner world. This sort of a Cowboy Bebop does the same thing in regards to this future that they all live in, where cathode ray tube computer screens are everywhere. There's no flat panel LCD monitors or LED monitors either. They're all just cathode ray tube, old school 1970s, 1980s computer monitors everywhere. Blade Runner's future is that way. Cowboy Bebop's future is that way. And I find that interesting, this kind of retro new technology. So that's cool. Because, of course, you know, when Ridley Scott imagined Philip K. Dick's novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which came out in 82, I think, how was he to predict that we wouldn't be using CRT monitors? I mean, that's been the television screens ever since the TVs came out and computers. And so when he created his future, which I think the first Blade Runner movie was supposed to be in, was it 2019? And so in 2019, they had CRT monitors. There were no flat panel LCD, LED computer screens. So it's just an interesting take on the future. So I don't know whether or not I'm going to stomach myself through another Black Lotus Blade Runner show. I really want to watch it. I want to watch it, but it's just so unbelievable and so poorly done. Oh God, it broke my heart to see that. This outfit looks pretty nice. Okay, the boots are very weathered, nicely detailed. The coat has a hook and latch here. Just slide the hook into to close it, which is neat instead of a snap. He has a ribbed sweater, no belt on with those pants. I love the texture of this fur, if you will. Obviously, it wouldn't be fur for many reasons, but even more so in the Blade Runner future, animals are for the most part virtually extinct. Any animal, mosquitoes, even moths and butterflies, birds, virtually all gone. On the back of it, it says 90100H4 U or something to that degree. I don't remember that being on the back of his coat in the movie. I'll have to check that out. It's sad when there's detail on the back of a figure, you never really get to see it because we always display our figures forward facing, right? So this will be nice to store Joy next to. You get the feeling he'd fallen in love with Joy in the movie. And you get the feeling that Joy loved him too. And the question comes about, did she herself love him? Did she have that emotion? Or was it only part of her programming? He comes across a billboard, more or less, advertising for Joy. Earlier in the show, Joy says to him, "You should have a name instead of K." She goes, "How about Joe? You should be called Joe." So when he sees the billboard is designed to come alive and talk to you directly to convince you to buy the product, the Joy product, anything you want to see, anything you want to hear. And the billboard says to him, "You look like a good Joe." And that's what's some of the neatest stuff about Blade Runner is that you are asked, "Who are you?" How do you know you even exist? How do you know when you woke up this morning that you went to sleep last night? How do you know that you weren't on an assembly table just yesterday having your memories programmed into you and then placed into the bed to wake up, believing that you really live. More human than human. It's the Tyrell motto. Original creator of the replicants. Tyrell, of course, being killed by his own creation as Roy Batty was seeking God to extend his life. He didn't want to die. And out of disgust, once he found God and realized that God had no more power than he did, he killed him. A man named Wallace took over the Tyrell Corporation, continued the replicant creations, evolving them. The Nexus Generation 6 replicants were so human, it was virtually impossible to tell them apart from real humans. They were banned from the planet. It was illegal for them to be on Earth. And that was Harrison Ford's character being a Blade Runner. The division of Blade Runners were the replicant retirement squad, where they would kill them because the order was to kill a Nexus 6 generation replicant found on Earth. However, they didn't call it killing, as he points out. They called it retirement. And so we have the conundrum of Joy. Was she really starting to have feelings for Kay? She sure appeared to be. Or was it all part of her programming? If you really take the time to watch the shows, the two Blade Runner movies, you'll be entertained with quite a bit of self-reflection and thought. So we have a holster for him to carry his firearm. I don't remember how it goes on him. So I imagine something to the effect of this goes up through this arm and up through this arm and then tucks underneath him like this. I don't know, though. I'm not going to put it on him until I have had a chance to research this. It looks really neat. I've never seen this before. This pistol, it's in this little box. Don't want to destroy this box. There we go. Comes a display stand to display the pistol with. That's neat. And there is Kay's pistol. Similar in design to Harrison Ford's Blade Runner Deckard pistol, but not. A lot of YouTube videos will show you how to recreate Deckard's pistol. Trying to figure out how to stand this in this. So this goes in here, right? Ah, there's Deckard's pistol. Maybe it's Deckard's pistol that goes in here. The bag of goodies. So that's Deckard's pistol. Some of you gun guys know exactly what this is. I don't. It's like a combination of a couple of firearms, like a rifle and a pistol. Ah, okay. Got it figured out. So it's designed for you to put the pistol in here as such. And that's how you would display it, if you wished. We'll throw that down over there. And Deckard's also will display as such. As you can see, it doesn't necessarily hold it directly in. So he comes with, on the figure, he comes with 2 relaxed hands. And it appears that this one relaxed hand, you could probably put his pistol in if it wasn't on the floor. We have a right trigger finger, a left kind of lazy pointing finger, and 2 fists in skin color. And over here we have, in the bag of goodies, a few things here. He has his LAPD detective's badge. Put the glasses on so I can read it. Officer K0637, LAPD. Police officer. Looks like his badge number says 635. Neat little leather fold there. Plastic badge. Folded up tight. That's pretty neat. The plastic badge can be removed. Matter of fact, so can the identification. The slot opens up and those items can be taken out of the wallet if you needed to customize this wallet for any other reason. We get a right hand black glove which is would hold this wallet. It's got that little thumb finger holding pose on it. And we have a left hand trigger finger or something to that effect. I think this is a video camera. I don't remember. I don't remember what this is from the movie. The scotch on the rocks, bourbon, whiskey. Actually, there's no ice cube in there. If I remember correctly, this is the emanator that allows him to take joy with him outside of his house. The device that joy is programmed or is displayed from to live outside of his home base unit. And we have the wooden horse. Have you ever seen a miracle? Ryan Gosling played this character, right? Put all the goodies back here in the bag so I don't lose them. What's fun about the Blade Runner stories of these two movies is after watching the movie, you're left with more questions than you went into it with. Kind of like the AC/DC song, Who Made Who? Who Made You? All right. I remember getting into it with a former girlfriend's mom. We were talking about Blade Runner, and I said, "How do you know you even existed yesterday?" And she goes, "Because I gave birth to your girlfriend, my daughter." I said, "Yeah, but how do you know that memory wasn't implanted into your mind this morning before you woke up?" "Because I know I was there." Obviously, you didn't get it. Obviously, didn't get it. These don't really look like the actor. You have two head sculpts, a damaged and undamaged, and it's just paint features the difference between them. So the profile looks like the actor, but straight on, he does not. And that's the clean head. And there's the battle damaged head. What do you guys think? It's funny. Blade Runner is one of those movies, like Pulp Fiction. Either someone gets it or they don't. And some people just get really angry. They're just like, I don't get it. Stupid movie. Well, you don't have to be angry about not getting it. So what? You don't get it. Big freaking whoop. Get over it. I get some of the reactions about Pulp Fiction. I didn't understand it. It made no sense. You know? I don't know what that says about somebody. It says something. Right? So here's Constant K. Constant K, if I remember correctly, was his name. Constant K. Not just Agent K. Constant K, wasn't it? There's K and Joy. They look good together. I like it. I like it. Have you ever seen a miracle? This came from Big Bad Toy Store. Don't remember what it is. I've always liked that Big Bad Toy Store. Double boxes of items to send to you. A 1/6 scale telephone booth. I don't know why I ordered this. Somewhere there's going to be a reason for me to have a telephone booth sooner or later. Right? Got to be. I like in upcoming promotions of Deadpool 2, it showed Wade going into a telephone booth to change into the Deadpool character. So maybe that's what came to my mind when I saw this. Which was a play on how Superman used to change into his uniform back in the day. He'd go into a telephone booth, and that's where he would go from mild-mannered Clark Kent to the Man of Steel, Superman, right in the phone booth. These things are long gone for the most part. If you find one around, it's very rare. But gosh, they were everywhere. On street corners, inside buildings. Piece of history which is long gone. Everybody has cell phones now. I think in the Christopher Reeves movie they addressed the ineffectiveness of changing in a telephone booth. It appears to have a place for batteries. Looks like 3 AAAs. I'll have to get those and light this up. I believe this may be metal. It feels cold to the touch, like metal would. I think this is metal. Looks like there's a light in the top of it. So in the old days, you know, when you would exit the phone booth, this was a folding door. So as you would pull the center of it, it would slide so you could get in it, and then you would close it behind you. And when you would close it, the light would come on. This is attached by magnets, so it doesn't travel along a rail like the original ones did. So you would slide it open as such, you would step inside of it, and then you would slide it closed. I think, as a matter of fact, I think they slid inward, if I remember correctly. I don't think they slid outward. Maybe they did. It's been a long time since I've used a phone booth. I mean, a very long time. Probably, gosh, 30 years. Did they slide out or did they slide in? So this would be great if you're doing a Clark Kent or a Bill and Ted or Deadpool. Anything along that line. It says 5 creation telephone. F213, A, B, and C would denote the color. Red, silver, and black. Five creation telephone. F2013, A, B, or C. And the B is the silver. A is the red, I assume. And C is the black, I'm guessing. There's 2 little magnets right here, the top and bottom of this door, to enable it to snap place and or even slide, if you will, because they will stay close enough to that to slide it out. And again, I don't remember whether it slid out or slid in. I think they slid in. I don't think they came out. So this is a piece of plastic, translucent, so light can shine through it, because these would light up. And it would say the name of the phone company: Pactel, Southern Bell, AT&T, Bell Systems, or it would just simply say telephone back in the old days. The magnet just came off of the door and was left on the frame, so that's going to need to be super glued back on. It's neat. It is neat. I imagine if you wanted to print your own pieces here, you could. I'm assuming now that this little package has the telephone in it. Oh, yeah. So it's so funny how things have changed over the years. Um, when I was growing up, when I was a child, literally, in order to call my friend at his house, I only had to dial 5 numbers. I swear to God, I only had to dial 5 numbers to call my friend at his house. I didn't have to dial 7 numbers, let alone 10 numbers, which we have to dial now. They issued you 7 numbers, and actually they issued you 10 numbers because you knew what your area code was. But if I was calling my classmates, 5 digits is all that had to be dialed. The first 2 digits were letting you know that you're dialing within the area. And by just dialing just those 5 numbers, it didn't connect to anything outside of the area that those first 2 digits denoted in the telephone number. So just by dialing those 5 digits, it would connect to whichever phone was in that area. You had one phone in a house, if you were lucky. If you were really lucky, you had a dedicated line to your house with your own phone number. There was one place where we lived where we had a party line. And what that meant was everyone on the road had one phone number. And when you called that number, every house on that street would ring. And if you picked it up, we used to have to say who it was that was answering the phone because they didn't know whether it was the Johnsons or the Smiths or the McCoys or the Hatfields or whoever. So you would say, Hatfield residents, John speaking. Oh, I'm trying to get the McCoys. All right. I'll hang up. So you could hang up and the McCoys could pick up the phone and they could answer the phone. You could also pick up the phone and eavesdrop and hear the conversation back then. That was a party line. Phones have come a long way. This payphone is interestingly shaped. It did a pretty good job considering. The neatest thing is the handset cord. It really feels like the handset cord should. Okay? The phone's a little wide considering what it should be. It shouldn't necessarily be that wide. It's close. And it definitely should be thicker. So, being a representation of the old style phone booth payphones, they did a good job. I mean, looking at this, you know what it is supposed to be. It's got all the key elements to what a phone payphone would have. You can hang the receiver up. A couple of magnets on the back will allow it to connect here in the corner. And I don't remember whether they went in this corner or this corner. Or maybe there wasn't a standard. Maybe it could go in either corner. I like it. I think I'll put it with my Deadpool collection. I think we'll have Deadpool 2 coming out of it and or even using it. I think that's what I'm going to do. Let me get some AAA batteries. Let's light this bad boy up. Neat accessory. Really neat. So whenever I have a figure or an accessory that uses AA or AAA batteries, same thing with remote controls. Anything that I don't tend to for a long time, I use these. They don't leak. They're twice as expensive as as regular batteries. They're made from lithium ions, I think. So you can put it in your accessory and leave them. They don't leak. So it won't destroy your toys. Your collectibles. Put it in your remote control. It won't destroy your remote control. Oh, that's bright. That's bright. Holy smokes, that's bright. I like it. That is super bright. Let's put a sand trooper in there. Two people could fit in a phone booth easily. I think there's actually a Guinness Book of World Records as to how many people you can shove inside a phone booth. We'll turn it off. on again. That looks great. And so, like I said, remember, when you would come up to it, if the door was open, the light was off. And as soon as you would close the door, the light would come on. And that's how they worked. I think later on, in the years past, they stopped putting lights inside of them. And they might have just had a light that would shine up the name. And so opening and closing it wouldn't have a light. Also, now that I remember, hanging from the phone, the pay phone, would be a phone book that you could use. The Terminator, of course, that's where he got his phone book to find Sarah Connor. It would literally just hang right here, and you could lift it up, and it was on a chain or a swivel or something, and you could open it up and find who it was you're looking for. So there's another role play opportunity for this. Sarah Connor. So I'm pretty sure he used it. The Matrix, right? Trinity dialed in one of these, right? Before getting smashed by Agent Smith in, was it a garbage truck that smashed into her? So when you start thinking about it, there's many role play opportunities for you to put your characters into these phone booths. So we're missing a telephone book. Is really the only thing we're missing. Some of them actually had a table in here, so you could write on, take notes while you're in here. I don't think this was much. I think it was maybe $100. It's well worth every penny. I'll say that. Well worth every penny. It doesn't look brand new. It looks like you would expect it to look in a respectable city. I'm digging it. I'm glad I bought it. Very glad I bought it, actually. Let's check some of the chat. Let's see, Robert. Happy holidays, YouTube family, friends. Damon, Zap, good morning. Willie Woodson, how you doing? Yes. I can't get enough Blade Runner. I'd love to get a spinner. Oh my God. I would actually probably like the 2049 spinner better. Agent K's spinner. It's a cooler looking spinner, really, than the original. The original is very classic, a little too round for my taste. I think I would really like to see a spinner. I would like to see someone like Juice make a spinner. It would be smaller than the land speeder and smaller than a Batmobile. That would be aces. That would be aces. Never saw the reboot Blade Runner. It wasn't a reboot. They didn't reboot the series. The series has never been rebooted. So the first movie came out in 1982 or 81. And at the end of the movie, it's left wide open to an ending. It doesn't necessarily end. It does. There's an ending. Okay. Um, but an opportunity is left open for a continuation of the story. And hence, Blade Runner 2049, not a reboot, but a continuation of the story. Um, I don't want to ruin the movie, just in case none of you have seen it. I recommend you seeing it. But 2049 is a continuation. Like I said, if I remember correctly, the first movie took place in 2019. So this is now 30 years later, and you get caught up with what's going on. Um, Tyrell was killed. What happened to the Tyrell Industries? What happened to the generation, Nexus Generation 6 replicants that were made illegal on Earth? Um, what happened to the rogue replicant? It just continues on from there. So it's not a reboot. It's not even close to a reboot. It 100% picks up 30 years later where the first movie ended. And Dave Bautista's in it, and he's the one that tells Ryan Gosling, Constant K, did you ever see a miracle? It's interesting. Very deep, 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 deep movie. Pay attention to it when you watch it. Don't get up, go pop your popcorn, come back, hop down, and expect to see what's going on. You have to watch the movie. You have to watch the movie. Yeah, Ridley Scott, I think he did a really good job with this. So again, it's based off of the book "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep," which creates the world of this dystopian future that the Blade Runners exist. Totally different story, same main character, Deckard, but totally different story. So if you really want to get into it, read the book, read the story of Deckard's other mission. It talks about his wife. In the movie, he's divorced now. It talks about what people do and a religious cult, more or less, that they get wrapped up into, called Mercerism. It essentially is a television program that portrays a man pushing a boulder up a hill all day long. Quite interesting. Quite interesting. Quite interesting. Philip K. Dick. So Harrison is an android, and that's the question that we have after the first movie. All right, so there's actually 5 versions of the original movie. 5. The one's called affectionately the brown-eyed version, and it was the version of the movie that was put in front of test audiences to get a response out of them to see if certain points in the movie registered with them, if they caught what was trying to be explained to them. Because again, like I said, it's not a movie you can throw into the TV and then walk away from it and expect to catch up just by plopping back down again. Unlike Suicide Squad, where you can skip the whole first half of the movie, I'm talking about the first Suicide Squad, and then sit down and they're going to explain everything you missed. Blade Runner doesn't explain nothing to you. So in the Brown Eyes version and in the American theatrical release and the European theatrical release, Bryant, who is the Blade Runner's chief, tells Deckard, he says, I've got 6 skin jobs walking the streets. And he proceeds to name 5 of them. The 6th one's never named. And Bryant keeps giving Deckard this eye, this They're supposedly old friends. Deckard had retired from being a Blade Runner. He comments that he's quick. He was quick. Brian says, I need the old Blade Runner. He says something to the effect of, I was quick back then and I'm even quicker now. Because he said, I'm retired. I'm not doing this anymore. And so the question becomes, who's the sixth skin job, as Bryant calls them, walking the streets? Because they're illegal on the earth. When they redid it to a director's cut, which is the fourth version of the movie, they added a scene of a unicorn. So I don't remember the other detective's name that Bryant sent to bring Deckard back into the fold, if you will. And he also is giving Deckard the eye the entire time. I can't remember his name. But everywhere he would go, as they were tracking down these replicants, he would make an origami figure. And he made an origami figure in the first three versions of the movie of a unicorn and left it outside Deckard's apartment. No explanation. Deckard picks it up, looks at it, shakes his head. I think he throws it away. Earlier in that fourth movie, as Deckard falls asleep, he's dreaming of a unicorn. Some people say that that's an implication that that is a memory that was put into him as a replicant. And the other police officer, the other Blade Runner, knew this and was leaving the origami unicorn to let him know. I know. The fifth version of the movie is called The Final Cut. Cleans a lot of stuff up in it. No more additions were added to that movie. The American theatrical release and the European theatrical release each have a different ending to the movie. Two different endings. So the first three movies has a talkover, a voiceover. Harrison Ford is telling you the movie. And there was a lot of criticism over that. If you have to have somebody dictate to you everything that's going on in the movie, it's because you didn't write a very good movie in the first place or direct the people necessarily properly so that the viewing audience can figure out what's going on without having to be told what's going on. So it received a lot of negative comments about the voiceover of Deckard having to explain what was going on. For instance, when they come up and they start speaking to him in a multilingual language, a mishmash of Hungarian and Chinese and English and Spanish and German, all into one giant conversational language. This other Blade Runner comes up to him and he starts speaking to him in this language, and Deckard acts like he couldn't understand him. And he says something to the effect of city speak, a mishmash of all these languages. Every cop knew the language. Why should I make it easy on him, though? So he had the guy that was running the sushi restaurant translate to him what he was saying. But this was all things that could have been done without having that voiceover put in there if you just took an extra moment to write the story a little better or have your actors act a little differently. So a lot of criticism came towards the movie for that. So in the fourth movie, the director's cut, they did away with the voiceover. And the voiceover didn't return in the fifth movie either. With the fifth movie, he was able to go in there and digitize a lot of things and fix some problems that he had. One of the problems, and I don't remember exactly what the problem was that this happened, but one of the replicants, when she was retired, the stunt double looked nothing like her. I mean, looked nothing like her. She was wearing the same outfit, and that's it. She had a different wig on. It was just horrible. Uh, and there was a reason, and it was had to do something with when they were filming that day that was the best they could do, and it was a one take shot. She literally, the stunt woman crashes through several panes of glass. Glass is flying everywhere, and even fake glass, which is made out of sugar, by the way, in case you didn't know this, even fake glass will cut you. It's still sharp. If you ever had a piece of brittle peanut candy or any type of a sugar candy, if you snap that, it's still sharp. And she ran through all these panes of glass, this breakaway glass, and it's falling all over her. And he always hated that she looked nothing like the actress that she was supposed to be portraying. So, in the fifth version of the movie, he was able to digitize the actress onto the stunt woman to now make it accurate as to who it was that was crashing through the glass. You knew who it was. It wasn't like as if you had no idea who that was crashing through the glass. You knew who it was supposed to be. And Ridley Scott commented that he hated to some degree fixing that because the stunt woman did such an amazing job, and this was just a way of paying homage and or tribute to what she did in doing this very dangerous stunt. And now she's been erased more or less from that now that they were able to digitize the actress onto her, and it kind of erased her, and he resented that. So that's the fifth version of the movie, called the final cut. So you have what's affectionately called the brown eyes. You have the American theatrical release, the European theatrical release, with both of those having a different ending. And I don't remember what ending is on the brown-eyed version. I have all 5 versions. You have the director's cut, which is the first one that doesn't have the monologue or the voiceover. And then you have the final cut, which has a lot of the images digitized to correct minor flaws and errors in the movie. So you can enjoy it in 5 different ways. Very interesting. So, so also in the 4th version, and I'll get back to what I was talking about with the 6 skin jobs. In the 4th version, the director's cut, Bryant says 5. I've got 5 skin jobs walking the street. Or 5 of them escaped. 5 of them. So in the first 3 movies, it says 6. In the 4th movie, it's all one movie, the 4th release of the movie, he says 5. So there was a reason why they changed that. So that's interesting. So there was always the big question, was Deckard an android or not? And they answered that definitively, in my opinion, in the 2nd movie, Blade Runner 2049. They answered specifically whether Deckard was an android. So, in my opinion, there's no question about it. But you now have a huge question about K. Huge question about K. And without giving away too much of the movie, at the end of the movie, when he encounters the programmer of memories, the memory she's programming when he meets her, he encounters when he walks out of her office. Think about that for a little while you're watching that movie. Bought the Harrison Ford head sculpt because I wanted a kit bash of him as Air Force One president. Get off my plane. He did a good president. Air Force One I thought was pretty good. Let's see. Blade Runner head sculpt a bit older than he was in Air Force One. Yeah. Thought maybe did Han Solo head sculpt might be better. Well, except Han Solo head sculpt, doesn't he have a lot of hair? It doesn't have a clean cut head, clean cut hair. Black Lotus and maybe a Blade Runner TV series. Yay. It is. It's 3 episodes are out now. Fourth episode will be this Sunday. You can find it on Adult Swim. I think I watched it. Um, Adult Swim is also on HBO Max, and it's on Hulu. I think I went to. There's another site for it, and I think that's where I watched it at. So the episodes are available to watch now, and it's an animation movie. Um, I don't know where the movie is housed or made, which production house makes it. I don't think it's American made. I think it's Asian made. Um, but I expected a lot more, and I haven't been led to watch the other 2 episodes. It's kind of really upsets me. Um, like I said, it's just very childish. It's very immature, and I don't mean as in childish or immature humor. I just mean it doesn't appear that a seasoned creator created this. I think it was done with respect. I don't think it was done to be a slander towards the Blade Runner franchise, if you will. And it follows the guideline that I like to tout, that if you're going to make a story about um, a universe, make your own damn story. And that's what they've done. So I have to give them kudos there. Unlike Star Wars 7, 8, and 9, where they decided to make a Star Wars story, but they decided to make a different version of your characters that you were very well aware of. They couldn't make their own damn Star Wars universe story. They had to destroy the universe story that was there. So it appears that Black Lotus, of the first episode, has absolutely zero to do with the essentially the 2 Blade Runner movies, except taking place in the same universe, which is neat. There was some artwork for the spinners specifically for 2049 that didn't make it into production of the movie. They made it into this. So if you're a spinner fan, you now get to see a new spinner, so a third spinner, and even a civilian spinner. So it's nice. So now there's essentially 4 versions of spinners out there, and the spinners are what they call the hover cars. They can drive on the road or they can fly, and really neat, really neat. I'm planning on buying 1/6 figures Raimi Spider-Man, like Doc Ock, Goblin, Toby Spider-Man, etc. Spider-Man is my man. That's my guy. That's my superhero. I am a total sellout for Spider-Man. I really enjoyed the Tobey Maguire telling of the Spider-Man story. The only problem I had with the Tobey Spider-Man was that his webbing was bioengineered. It just came out of his body. It was a secretion, unlike the Amazing Fantasy 15 Spider-Man, the Earth 616 Spider-Man, where he had to create the webbing, and it's a web shooter that he designed. He'd press a little trigger and it would shoot out. And he invented this as a teenager. He invented these things. He invented this webbing fluid that dissolves after 4 hours. But I had a problem with that, and that was the only problem I had with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man stories. I had a problem with Venom, the way they portrayed Venom, not with Topher Grace, but just the way that Sam Raimi brought Venom to life in that movie. It really destroyed. It was just stupid. It was wrong in so many ways. It's not even funny. So that Venom was junk, and it has nothing to do with the actor. It had to do with how they decided to bring him to the big screen, and that was a mistake. There were supposed to be 2 more movies. It was 5 movies were slated for Tobey Maguire. After the third movie with the Venom and the black suit Spider-Man, they it really didn't wasn't received well by the public. Um, the They decided to reboot with a different actor and a different Spider-Man story. Andrew Garfield played the Amazing Spider-Man stories, and it, it again was a different version of Spidey. And I was more in tune to and enjoying the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man that I never really gave Andrew a fair shake, a fair nod, a fair chance. Um, I would have to watch again the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies with a different eye to give it a fair assessment. Um, and then, of course, Tom Holland's Spider-Man was immediately well received. We didn't get an origination story this time. The origination story was told twice. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's story. Um, just as they kind of rushed through the origination stories in Into the Spider-Verse, the Miles Morales Spider-Man story. Um, because for the most part, we all know the Spider-Man story. Now, that doesn't mean in the future they shouldn't tell the story again. But I think we're comfortable enough since the first Spider-Man movie came out in 2000, if I remember correctly. I think it was May of 2000 when that came out. No. Was it? I don't remember. There's a trailer for the Spider-Man movie that came out in 2001, I believe. Gosh, let me think. 2001. Yeah, 2001, where Spidey's chasing a helicopter through New York City, and he spins a web in between the World Trade Center, the two towers, and snags the helicopter in the webbing that he spun. The World Trade Center was destroyed, and that trailer was quickly removed from television and theaters, and that scene was cut from the film. So that's an interesting little tidbit there. But yeah, I am totally 100% sold on Spider-Man. I'll buy whatever Spider-Man junk that they have that they are offering. Now, somebody asked if I was going to buy the comic version of the Green Goblin, and I passed on that. I'm kind of steering kind of really onto the movies versions of these pieces. And so I have the Doc Ock that was made by Toys R Us. I have the Fiend, the Green Goblin that was made also, I believe, by Toys R Us. I love those pieces. They are amazing. I have an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I have, I think, a couple of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans that I've bought within the last couple of years. I didn't buy them back when they first were made 10 or 15 years ago. And when Hot Toys makes the new Spider-Man, because I have a feeling that both Andrew and Tobey are going to be in this new Spider-Man movie that comes out on the 19th of December, I will gobble every one of those up. Every one, for fact. Totally. These four, or I think it's four Detolfs here, are all Spider-Man. They're full of Spider-Man. And I've got just as many Spider-Man figures I don't even have just standing over here to put into Detolfs. I have another, what do I have? I think we've got another 5 Detolfs in the garage that haven't been assembled. So, for fact, I'm buying Spider stuff. I'm buying Spidey for fact. I love Tom Holland. I think they did a really good job with that. I like his story. I like the Tom Holland Spider-Man. Most future movies predicted we watch stuff via holograms. Yeah, It's very interesting, the future that they thought we would have. And we're living in the future. This was where they envisioned the future would be. This time right here was the future. I know that sounds stupid to say, but this was when the future was supposed to be. Flying cars and holographic communicating and all sorts of stuff. Interesting fact about Star Trek: The Next Generation view screen. So the giant view screen, which they really didn't do a very good job portraying in the television series or even in the movies, the giant view screen is curved, okay, on the bridge, and it's designed so to actually create a three-dimensional image there. So if you read any of the technical manuals or anything along that line that tells you of the technology that's creating this giant view screen that was, gosh, I don't even know, probably 40 feet across by 20 feet tall, maybe, that it was actually a 3D holographic projector. And so, essentially, if you were talking to somebody, a 3D version of them could be projected right there. Pretty interesting when you start thinking about the holograms in 3Ds, where Star Trek used screens that was actually a 3D hologram projection capability, just like the holodecks. And in the Next Generation, both Picard and Riker had never seen a holodeck. They were new technology, first installed on the Galaxy class cruisers. Now, as they continue to retell the story and try to rewrite Star Trek history with Enterprise and Discovery, they make it out as if they've been around for 100 years before the Next Generation. They didn't exist. The holodecks, both Riker and Picard were just completely blown away by the holodecks on the Enterprise. There was no holodecks before then. And Data had to explain to them how they worked. They didn't know. They were new technology. There was a SDCC that was in November. I didn't get chosen again to attend. So every year I have to go into the lottery and hope that they draw my name, and they don't. Um, there's supposed to be one for next year, I'm thinking. So someplace along the line, SDCC will send me an email telling me this is the day we'll start the lottery up. Log on to your computer at 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And if your number comes up, you can come to SDCC. And so far, my number has not come up. Now, once you get into SDCC, you'll have an automatic option of going in the year after that. But if you've never been, you have to go through the lottery process. Yeah, it was in November, I believe, is when the SDCC was. It was a smaller one, so they canceled it due to COVID last year, and then they decided to do one when COVID restrictions relaxed in November, and I think it was August or September, maybe July. I don't remember when they had the lottery and or the option for returning visitors to SDCC to buy their tickets. Shang-Chi on Blu-ray, cool. I hope we get the Blu-ray of Picard, the boys, and the MCU stuff like WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Loki. When does Hawkeye start? And when does the Mandalorian start back up again? That's what I want to see. There you go, Damon. Yeah, there you go. Trust me, the collections grow slow. And next thing you know, you've got 200 plus figures you don't even know what to do with. It's a fun hobby. Welcome to it. Don't rush it. Collect what you have a connection to. There have been instances where I have bought a figure thinking it's what I wanted. Um, One of them was the mask. I thought I wanted the mask, and I really didn't. Had no love for it. And that's funny because I love Jim Carrey, or I should say, I love the characters that Jim Carrey has created, the ones he's brought to life. And I really enjoyed the Mask movie. But when I bought the figure, I just didn't have any connection to it, and it was just a, gee, I wish I hadn't spent my money on that figure. It was a great figure. It was the second release of it by Asmus Toys that did that. Don't remember. But I was happy to sell it, and of course I took a loss on it. But collect what you have a connection to. If you can't look at that figure and feel something, be it joy or anger or empathy, then you're wasting your money. Don't just buy something because it's the right scale or because you think you want it. The majority of these figures you'll never make your money back on. You'll never make your money back on. Collectible hobby where you're going to become rich selling them down the line. There are people that buy these figures, disassemble them, and sell the pieces, and they might make a profit off of that as they sell a leg for $60 or something along that line, and then all the pieces as parts may exceed the value of the piece that they bought. But other than that, it's hit or miss as to whether or not a figure will increase in value, and even more rare now as they're able to just crank them out and or reissue them. So don't collect these with intention of making any money. Collect these because you want this in your collection. You want to enjoy it. You want to be taken back to a time in your life, or you want to have a feeling or something from owning that piece. And enjoy it. Enjoy the hobby. But don't look at it as an investment. It's not. You'd do better off buying some gold or a stock in your favorite company or buying some type of cryptocurrency. Truthfully, you would do better in that in regards to putting money aside or making money later on down the road. All of those are volatile as well. Gold, cryptocurrency, and stocks. There's no guarantee that any of them will ever make you money. But you have a better chance of making money in those areas than you do in Hot Toys figures. You literally would have to luck into buying that one piece that at that time could be resold for 3 or 4 times its value. And then if you don't sell it, and they reissue it, you lost that window. So enjoy the hobby, buy the pieces because you want them in your collection, because you want to have a connection to them. That's why you do that. Do this. Don't do it for anything else. Take your time. Take your time. His clothes look extremely movie accurate. I agree. I think they did a great job with his outfit. I'm disappointed in the head sculpt. It works. I mean, I know who it is. I'm happy that I bought him. And yeah, the clothes are great. If you can find a better Ryan Gosling, that would be better. That's definitely not the best Ryan Gosling. Oh, Sam expects that cap suit. Real, real good. It did come from Wakanda. And we know how dirty they did Bucky. I like how they just walked up and troop, 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 knocked his arm off his shoulder. He's like, I didn't even know that did that. What the hell? Take his arm clean off. You don't need that. I truly feel that Kay and Joy really did love each other. And I want to believe that too. I want to believe that Joy had self-aware. I want to believe that Joy was self-aware and wasn't just a program that was running. I want to believe that. And that's the question that you're left with. You know, a whole nother life form is brought into this giant what are we? Who are we? What makes us who and what we are? What is our soul? What is our soul? We have a brain. We all know and understand for the most part how a brain works with memories and such. We have a heart. We know how the heart can ache, the heart can love. You can feel from your heart. The heart generates electricity as well, just like the brain does. And we have a soul, a conscious, a still small voice that talks to us. That's the one that perplexes people. That's why there's been a moratorium put on to cloning humans. Because the question is, where's the soul created? Some people believe that animals don't have a soul. Some people believe that animals don't go to heaven. Some people believe that animals are our reincarnated selves. So you can clone animals, Dolly the sheep being the famous clone, but you cannot clone a human because they don't know the answer to that question. Now, keep this in mind. Twins, identical twins formed in the womb, are clones. Identical twins are a clone of the other, and they have their own mind, they have their own heart, and they have their own soul. So the question becomes, where did that soul come from? If we were to create a clone of you, would it have a soul? That's the question. That's the question. And so with this last movie, you know, does Kay have a soul? And does Joy have self-awareness? Are Joy's feelings only programs that are designed to react, just like the Voight-Kampff test, which is how they detected whether or not a Nexus 6 generation replicant was a replicant, was by the involuntary reaction to the pupil in the eyes and the flesh of the skin whenever an emotion would come upon them, a feeling. It would flush up. It's a response that humans can't control. You can't make it not happen. When you're shocked or embarrassed or aroused, you'll have this response in your face. It tells, it's a tell, it tells on you. And that's why the Nexus 6 replicants were made illegal for one of the many reasons. Because with the Voight-Kampff test, it was difficult to determine whether or not they were a human as they started developing feelings and emotions. You're in a desert and you come across a tortoise that's on its back, but you don't flip it over. Why? It's a question designed to evoke an emotional response, to see if your face tells on you. Why aren't you flipping the tortoise over? Why are you letting this tortoise suffer in the desert in a time when animals are, for the most part, extinct? Why aren't you helping this turtle? What's wrong with you? Are you heartless? Are you, sadistic? It's a question designed to invoke an emotional response. It's part of the movie. So did Joy Was she creating those expressions because it's where she was being developed, where she was pushing herself to? Or was it just simply a program designed to react to a certain situation? Tears and blushing and dilation of the pupils. Was it real or not? So that's another conundrum that is brought to the question in the Blade Runner story. What's going on with Joy? Superman Toys does great stuff. I have their Bionic Man, both versions. Love them. Still hoping and wanting for a Jamie Summers, the Bionic Woman. I had the Bionic Man when I was a kid. You could look through his eye. He had a hole in his head. You could look through his eye. Don't know who made that. I don't know if it was made by the same people that made the G.I. Joe dolls, because I also had 12-inch G.I. Joe dolls back then. Action figures. Action figures. You know, Data is a whole nother story as well. Because if you remember, Data was unique also. Remember, they were going to disassemble him to try to figure out how he worked. What was that whole organization that oh God, help me out, you Star Trek fans. The oh, sorry, the Daystrom Institute, right? Where they were trying to recreate Data. Oh, Picard explains all of that. Watch Picard, the television series. It's on CBS. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Are you ever given a mind wipe on Data at that point? Because keep in mind, remember, the emergency medical holograms and all of that as well. Oh, whoa. A whole nother conundrum and complex thing. By the way, the Next Generation, Data was the star of the show. It was Data's show. Brent Spiner was the lead actor of the show, believe it or not. It was all about Data. It was all about Data. All the way up even through Picard. It's all about Data. All about Data. Pulp Fiction is an amazing movie. Now, I don't know how well it stands up in today's reality. So when the movie came out back in 92, I think, oh, it was shocking. It was cutting edge. It was something that we'd never even seen before. Oh, what an amazing movie. Um, and it just really helped Quentin Tarantino get himself on the map. He made a lot of movies, and well, not that many, but Pulp Fiction just really just solidified him. Reservoir Dogs. As a matter of fact, there was supposed to be a sequel to Pulp Fiction that was going to have, God, I forget his name, but the guy that was doing the dancing while he was cutting the ear off of the guy in Reservoir Dogs is John Travolta's character's brother. And Tarantino had a movie story in his mind of them together as a team. And it hasn't been made yet. But he's Tarantino's out there, man. I love him. I love him. Pulp Fiction is amazing. Harley Quinn made a Supernatural, huh? 200 off of eBay. I decided super mad, not Supernatural, super mad to have her. She's great. I don't know how rare she was. The TARDIS. Love the TARDIS. Ah, oh, love the TARDIS. If you're a Doctor Who guy, you have to have the TARDIS. And if I remember correctly, no matter which version of Doctor you're watching, it's all the same style of TARDIS on the outside, right? It's all the same police box, right? Big fan of diorama props.
And that phone booth looks awesome. Thank you very much, Team Zap. You've seen Candy Clark from the remake of The Blob. I don't remember that. Someone called Picard. Felix Hunger, how you doing, man? Yeah, the booth is great. So many different opportunities to display different characters in it. I don't remember a red or a black booth in the United States. I don't remember one. Um, I don't even know if there were any other place in the world, to tell you the truth. Right? Like maybe England, the UK might have had red ones for police or fire. Maybe a fire box. So London had red ones. Okay, there you go. Love the magnets. Reach out and touch someone. Reach out and just say hi. It was the Bell Systems commercial to for long distance telephone calling. Back in the day, if you had to dial 1+ and then the phone number to call somebody long distance, oh, you were being charged through the nose. I don't remember how much it cost back then, but it was so expensive that if somebody came to your house and you were on the phone, literally, you could tell them, I'm on the phone long distance, and they immediately knew that you didn't have time for them. When call waiting came about, and you could tell when somebody was calling you in while you were on the phone, you could switch over to the other line. You could answer the phone and say, hello, and yeah, yeah, I'm on the other line, long distance. And they'd say, okay, call me back when you get done. Everybody recognized that if you're making a long distance phone call, you were paying through the nose. It was very rare that you would make a long distance phone call. And so that was the jingle that the Bell Systems had to get people to use long distance phone calling. You had to pay per the minute at your own house calling somebody long distance. Two-Face can make a call. Yeah, they became a mess. Graffiti. I mean, you could throw graffiti on here if you wanted to. I mean, all sorts of things. I mean, what can you say about society? People are people. Terminator reference. Thank you. President Loki, I can't wait to get him. I have not. I'm trying to remember whether I ordered him or not. I think I did. Don't remember. I plan on it. No doubt about that. Hawkeye on Disney Plus is pretty good so far. Okay, so it's out. Good. Thank you, Jake. I've enjoyed it, but I'm probably a little biased being a Hawkeye fan. I like Hawkeye too. I like the actor as well. He's from his hometown is where I live. That's where he's from. And obviously I never knew him, but he's a local. He's a local, or well, was. He was raised here. 2 episodes out already, and what have they been? 6, 8, 10. How many episodes have they been making of these shows? WandaVision and Loki and Winter Soldier and Falcon. How many episodes are each one of those been? 10? Boba Fett comes out in January. I thought it was December. Yeah, I think it's December that Boba Fett's supposed to come out. And is there going to be a Mandalorian continuation in that line? I've really enjoyed how Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have taken the Star Wars universe, taken the reins of it, and ran with it properly. I really enjoyed that. Um, it's an interesting climate that we live in nowadays, political climate and such. But I really am enjoying the Star Wars that John Favreau and Dave Filoni, is that his name? Are creating for us. They're doing it, in my opinion, with respect for George Lucas and his creation. They're doing a great job. And I love Apoya Hermanos, Gustav in The Mandalorian. Love it. The Chicken Brothers. Love it. My goodness, I kept you guys a little late. I'm sorry about that. Thanks for tuning in, every one of you. I love all of you. You guys are aces. When I get the phone call to build my Corvette, I think what I'll do is on that Saturday, you guys will help me build it. Or at least I'll walk you through the site, and you'll help me pick out my car. I'm about 95% positive what I want. Red Mist Metallic. I think I'm going to go with the black and red interior. Z51 magnetic ride, convertible with the black painted nacelles, body color rooftop, and the Jake logo hood stripe. And probably with the graphite gray Trident style rims. I think that's what I'm going with. GT2 seats with the Napa leather in black and red with black seat belts. I think that's what I'm going with. Pretty positive. Chucky. You got a Chucky series now? And I don't mean the movies like as in a television series. Yeah, right? Yeah, it's weird how Hot Toys does that. I wonder if... Oh God, what's his name? The actor's name. I wonder if he had any say-so over it. He did go to China and make a commercial for Centrum vitamins, and maybe while over there he was able to sway or swoon the Chinese people and convince them to make the figures. I'm pretty sure they get a cut on every one of those that are sold, merchandised. Tom Hiddleston, that's his name. Because it doesn't make any sense why or when Hot Toys makes figures. It just doesn't make any sense. I'd be interested to see some of you guys kit bash some of the other Loki versions that showed up when the president showed up. Just like I have with all my Deadpools. Maybe it'd be fun to have all those Lokis. All those alternate reality Lokis. It'd be interesting to try to track down some of those. Some of you kit bashers out there. See how well you do with that. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I don't care for red cars, but I've never owned a Corvette, so I figured if I'm buying a Corvette for the first time, it has to be red. And they have a Torch Red, which is red. And then they have the Red Mist Metallic, which is kind of a burgundy. And so that's what I'm going with. I mean... It's almost like if you're buying a Ferrari, if you've never owned a Ferrari, you almost have to get a red one. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel about this Corvette. If you've never owned a Corvette, you have to have a red one. You can get any color that they make. I think they make 15 different color options. I don't remember. Same thing with Ferraris. You can get a yellow Ferrari, a black Ferrari, a silver Ferrari. But a red Ferrari just seems to be like the thing. So that's why I chose the red, because it's not my favorite color. It really isn't. Black, dark blue, even a silver or a gray. They make a color called caffeine this year, which is kind of a metallic brown, which almost looks a burgundy as well. It's pretty nice. Any of those colors would be great. also. But I figured since I've never owned a Corvette, you have to have a red one. So you can tell people I owned a red Corvette. Just, it's one of those things. You know what I mean? Kit. I've seen some amazing recreated kit cars. You can find all sorts of pieces out there to make your own kit car. You know, track down an old third generation Trans Am or Firebird, turn it into kit. Hell yeah. Michael, did you eat Taco Bell? Chucky TV show, really good show, very funny and creepy. What's the name of the actress that played his bride? I had a huge crush on her, one of those celebrity crushes. What's her name? Did you see the newly announced Spider-Man by Hot Toys? I did. Yeah, that's what was out last week. I couldn't remember what it was. The diorama is amazing. I think I ordered 3 of those. 2 with the diorama and 1 without. 2 deluxe and 1 regular. If I remember correctly. The diorama is amazing. It looks great. Really excited about that. Really excited about that. Thank you, Jake. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Alligator Loki, much cheaper. And yeah, the alligator Loki, and the retro Loki came with an alligator as well. So Hot Toys has one, and the retro Loki has the alligator. Thanks, Damon. Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you for tuning in. I will see you all next week. It'll be December, last month for 2021. Will 2022 surprise us? Will it be better? Who knows? The nose. Oh, shadow. The shadow nose. Come on, some of you guys. Don't tell me you don't know who I'm talking about. All right. I'll see you all. Thank you for tuning in. Love every one of you. Peace.